Welcome back to Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.
Good Sunday morning. You're listening to Access Houston. I'm your host, KG Smooth. Welcoming in the studio on the program, first timer. Actually, just very random how all of this happened. I was doing a remote at Culture, an urban comfort kitchen, right before Live After 5. The fall block party that we had, and Nicole and her husband was there, and he was a huge fan of Magic 102, where I host the Quiet Storm, and just excited and talking. And he told me about his wife and like, oh, she does yoga and she has this. I was like, oh man, I tried yoga for the first time this year, so let's have her on and talk about meditation and emotions and all of that. And we set it up, and she's here. She's the founder of how do you pronounce that, Nicole?
It's Kachina.
Kachina Yoga. She's the founder of Kachina Yoga. Ladies and gentlemen, Nicole Ferrel is on the program. Ferrel.
At Ferrel, either way it works. You can call me Kachina too, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But thank you very much for having me on the show. Happy Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Happy Sunday morning to everybody who's listening, whether you are on your way to a service or on your way home.
Yeah.
Or even if you're just up stressing. Today I want to talk a little bit about yoga, meditation, and my book that I wrote to deal with trauma and to help you alleviate some of that stress, and how yoga is perfect for that.
And something that all Black people go through, and I feel that it is necessary. That's why you're here. So let's talk about it. First of all, what is yoga?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked that question, because a lot of times here in the West especially, people hear yoga and they just think about twisted postures that you can get your body into. That is only one particular limb of yoga. So the Sanskrit definition of yoga, and Sanskrit is an ancient language that's about 5,000 plus years old, that that was in progress of being used when yoga was originally founded in this valley area of the world. And yoga really means a union, or to merge, or to yoke. So you're trying to bring together mind, body, soul, everything that is you, because you're so complex, you're trying to bring it together. And one of the areas that you're trying to bring together is the body. So a lot of times we think that the body is just this physical body that we see, but it's actually multi-leveled. And I break it down into 3 generic levels, which is the physical body. And then you have a mental body, and you have an energetic body, sometimes also referred to as the spiritual or emotional body. But those 3 bodies together create the actual physical avatar of the human body. So to do yoga is to bring all of it together, whether it's physical postures, mental meditation, spiritual mantras, journaling, all kinds of different things. It's a self-discovery process.
I've never heard it explained like that. It makes sense. My first time doing yoga, shout out to Yogi Jazz. I got a small little snippet, a small little taste, because it was my first time. So a small taste of when all 3 of those are aligned, mind, body, and spirit, how it almost felt like my spirit was levitating outside of my body. And I could feel like this sort of out-of-body experience for a split second. And it was when we were relaxing, after we'd done all the stretches and the poses, and she had that the sound. The singing bowl, and was telling us to relax and, what to do, and how we would possibly feel our spirit come about. And I got a little glimpse of it, and she was like, oh, wow, that's good. This is your first time. And so I was like, I want to feel that. And after yoga, I felt so much lighter. I felt like I literally was floating, and I slept so good that night. It was quite the experience. So sometimes people may put yoga and meditation together. I don't think they're one and the same, no?
No, they're not one and the same, but I'm glad you brought up your experience. And so shout out to your yoga instructor, because she is a freaking guru. She can get you into that that state, because that last pose is Shavasana, and that's also called corpse pose.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole intention of that pose is to do exactly what you did. So that's awesome. So she guided you right into where you were supposed to be. So
Oh,
kudos,
wow.
yeah. Especially for a first timer, you're very open minded.
Oh, yeah.
So meditation, so yoga actually is a great way into meditation. Meditation is actually a limb of yoga. But the postures, which are called asanas in Sanskrit, the physical postures of yoga are the easiest way to get into meditation, because while you're focusing on trying to balance yourself or trying to maintain a pose, you're taking yourself outside of everything except for breathing and trying to maintain that pose. So your mind is clear. You can't be worried about what is going on somewhere else when you're trying to keep your balance. So it's a great leeway into meditation. Now, again, in the West, meditation is a lot of times thought of as something that we practice only, but actually for a true yogi, meditation is a way of life. So you're when you start practicing meditation, you're practicing on calming your mind and focusing your mind in order to get to a space where you actually walk like that on a regular basis. So no matter what chaos is going on around you, you're like the Jedi monk at all times, and you can kind of focus and concentrate what it is that you need, so that these stresses and these emotions and things that happen in the physical body don't trigger, and you are the one that's in control of the situation.
Okay. You listen to Access Houston, talking to Nicole Ferrel, the founder of Kachina Yoga. Your book, let's talk about your book. The name of it is called The Earthly Body 101, Awakening the Human Avatar. Ooh,
Yes.
Kachina. So what are you exploring in Earth Body 101?
So, a little bit about the book. So, Kali's Corner, it's actually a series. This is the first one. So, all of them will fall under Kali's Corner. And the book goes hand in hand with my chakra courses. So, I have online courses that are designed to actually heal you through trauma and to guide you back into self and in connection with your higher self. And the book is more like a textbook. It can be done with or without the courses, but the human avatar is actually, again, the body that we were talking about, the mind, body, the 3 levels. And so the mental body of the avatar is like the glue that holds together the physical and the spiritual bodies and keeps these connected. So anything that happens in the mind, you can think about the mind as a two-way mirror. It happens on the physical and it happens on the spiritual level as well. So in order to be in control of what's going on with that, you got to control the mind. In order to control the mind, you've got to control the emotions. And especially people in America, especially Black people in America, have suffered through a lot of trauma that's been left to us through ancestral, through financial, through all kinds of racial and stereotypical stressors. That what happens is when you suffer with that trauma, and then you also suffer with programming that doesn't really resonate with who you are, which we receive as a child, then your body begins to activate and begins to do things in an automatic reaction based on things that happen as you were taught as a child. So in the book, we go through a series of questions. I call them diagnostic checks. It describes life, the journey of life, and why you are here, helping you to discover and to realize and remember what it is that you came here to do. And it goes into how to get in touch with yourself more by healing this trauma, because as long as the trauma is existing inside and you're still attached to it, then your emotional responses are going to be based on it. Every time you hear a movie, you hear a story, a song, a color, a smell, all kinds of things trigger these things.
Trigger.
Yeah, so it's a lot. So it's just guiding you through. And I call it a self-guided journey because I can only guide you as the reader, but the work, the heavy lifting has to go onto you.
Yeah.
This book gets a lot into feminine energy, and which both masculine, we have both masculine and feminine within us, whether we're man or woman. But the feminine side of us is the side that we tend to neglect and reject.
Yeah.
And it also gets into the space of the inner child, which sits within the heart chakra area of your body. So, yeah, a lot of times we think that to grow up is the whole goal here is to become an adult, but you're always a child. Like that part of you never goes away. Peter Pan, Michael Jackson. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And it makes sense when people in their adult lives go through something traumatic as a child or an adolescent, and they carry that through their adulthood, be it addressed or not. they carry it through. And so, yeah, I'm with you on that. When it comes to trauma and emotions, how can one control their emotions to combat the trauma that has that they have been faced with?
Well, there's many ways to it. One of them is meditation. Actually, the physical postures of yoga is what I started with, and that's what kind of, like I said, led me into deeper.
Because I read that the downward dog is like opens up that position, like opens up every organ, everything. You're stretching your body to the fullest. Like I heard that is like the God pose.
I call it the higher self pose because when you're there, have you ever seen that pose of the on the tombs in Egypt of the hieroglyphs where the goddesses hang over in the downward? I call it the higher self pose because you're looking down and you're connecting the higher and the lower self. So downward dog opens up the chest, it opens up the heart, it opens up everything. Yes, so it is like a God pose for real. But yoga postures lead you into helping, but meditation too. So a lot of times people say when they think that they're doing meditation wrong because things start to pop up when they sit down and try to be quiet. But in the beginning, as long as you're not focused on things like, paying the bills or did I turn the water off? What am I going to eat for dinner? Is that a dog barking? Things that come up are things that you probably need to address because your mind works just like a computer. And on the computer, you have that cache that, how you start typing a name in there and it pops up in the email address and populates it. That's how it happens with your mind. So when these things come up, it's better to just go ahead and take a note of them and see if there's something that you need to visit so you can deal with it. So the next time you get into meditation, you can get a little deeper. But in meditation, when things happen and things get presented to you, a lot of times it's stuff that you buried as a child, a lot of times, or some trauma that happened to you that you didn't want to think about anymore, so you swept it under the rug. And meditation can help you to get into that. Journaling as well. Okay.
This is some great stuff. Give out your contact information. Where can they get the book? Where can they follow you on social? And do you offer yoga classes?
So, yes, you can get the book on Amazon.com, and you can find a link to it on my website, which is kachinayoga.com, KACHINAYOGA.com. The classes are online. You can find a link to the courses on my website as well. And I am on social media. I am on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn, all /Kachina Yoga. I teach online, and I do lives on a regular basis with little tidbits of information on connecting and yoga and meditation. Breathing is my favorite subject. So, prana.
Well, that's dope. And online is very convenient. And that's the world that we live in today.
Yes.
Anyway, Nicole Ferrel, which
You're good. You're good.
founder of Kachina Yoga. Go to the website, kachinayoga.com. And thank you for coming on. This was dope.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No doubt. And thank you for listening to Access Houston.
Welcome back to Access Houston on 97.9 The Box.